in Washington, D.C. with you guys. But before I do that, I do want to preface it a little bit because I think it's important to know where it's coming from. And this was a press conference that was organized by Senator Johnson, and he invited around 20 people to speak. There was about 10 or so doctors and scientists, and then about 10 people that had adverse reactions to the shots. So this conference was held in the Kennedy Caucus Room in the Senate, which is one of the most historic rooms in the Senate. And Senator Johnson formally invited Dr. Anthony Fauci, the head of the CDC, the head of the NIH, head of the FDA, the CEO of Pfizer, CEO of Moderna, and all of the representatives of the states of injured people that were speaking. So for me, that would be all the representatives of Idaho. And yeah, 0 of them showed up. So 0 attendance from those people. They didn't even have the decency to send a representative to come sit and listen to people's stories and just hear information that these scientists and doctors were also presenting. So yeah, I was a little bit frustrated, and I think you can kind of hear that coming out in my speech at the beginning, but it is deserved. I don't know how, as a human being, especially one that's supposed to be representing average people, like their job is to represent average tax-paying people, I don't know how you can't even come listen to people and listen to stories of people that are injured. There's just a lack of accountability right now that was really frustrating and pretty heartbreaking to me. And I hope you can kind of hear that in my speech, because that's honestly how I feel. I don't know how you're ever going to listen if you cover your ears. I don't know how you'll ever see anything if you close your eyes. And I don't know how you'll ever learn anything if you're not present. And so it was just frustrating to see that firsthand. You always hear the stories about, oh, they'll never, they don't care, whatever. And I guess I was optimistic. And then to see all of their names on this table that was just empty, it was really frustrating. So I think that what we need to do as a society is do a better job of hearing both sides, right? Because the truth generally lies in the middle. And when you listen to only one narrative or one side, then it's pretty difficult to actually find that true middle ground. And yeah, I hope you guys kind of enjoy my speech. They gave me 3 minutes to try to make an impact on a topic that is so massive right now. And I don't know how much I could have done, but we did a podcast on Thursday with a guy named Aubrey Marcus that's supposed to come out at the end of the month. And he had a great analogy. And his analogy was, the truth is like a beach ball that's being submerged underwater. It's being actively pressed down. And the more you speak out and the more you share your stories and your truth, the more air you lend to that beach ball and the harder it is to suppress. And so, I hope that I added 3 minutes of good air to this whole movement. And yeah, without further ado, here's my speech. And thank you guys for everything. Thanks for your support. And yeah, I really appreciate it.
For anyone who is just maybe catching it right now, I hope that you go back and listen to Ernest's story, because what he went through is something that no parent ever wants to experience and no one should ever experience. Before I started my speech, I just want to say thank you to Dr. Fauci, to the FDA heads, CDC, NIH, everyone for not showing up to this meeting and not listening to us. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you have our interests at heart. This message is kind of for you. It's a message on how what's happening has broke my heart literally and figuratively with our country. My name is Kyle Warner. I'm a 29-year-old professional mountain bike racer and 3-time national champion. For most of my life, I have focused on being as healthy and positive as possible and inspiring other people to do the same. Growing up without much money and with a household that was broken, family battling drug abuse, prescription drug abuse, and addiction, I never really felt like I belonged to much of anything. However, I spent each morning before school with my hand over my heart, pledging allegiance to the flag. Thousands of times I spoke these words: one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Being a part of this country inspired me to chase my dreams and granted me the freedom to do so. This spring, when the current administration was urging young, healthy Americans to get vaccinated to help end this war on the pandemic, I stepped up. I wanted to serve the greater good. I wanted to help fight this war, not because I was afraid of COVID, but because my country asked me to. You told me, this vaccine is safe and effective, period. And I believed you. This time, I ended up with my hand on my heart for a different reason. In June, I joined the rapidly growing number of young men who develop pericarditis post-mRNA vaccine. That is the inflammation of the liner surrounding the heart. That condition, along with POTS and reactive arthritis, have completely brought an end to life as I knew it. I have been bedridden, unable to work, and unable to exercise for months. I fear that my career has officially been ended. Listening to these stories today and looking at the VAERS database, it is easy to see that we have a serious problem arising. But you guys already know this. The real question is whether or not you will stand up to your favorite pharmaceutical lobbyist in defense of the American people you are supposed to serve. We were told we were fighting a war against the pandemic, and the question in the air is, will you leave your troops behind yet again? I'm not asking you to end the vaccine program by any means. All I'm asking is for some transparency and acknowledgement of what is happening, so that we as a country can have an honest discussion of the risks. I believe where there is risk, there must be choice. And without acknowledging that people are being seriously injured and dying, we are doing a great disservice to the American people. It is estimated that Moderna and Pfizer will make around $60 billion in revenue this year from COVID-19 vaccines. And with the rollout of boosters and mandates, it seems like much of that is destined to be recurring revenue. We need to set up a fund with a portion of vaccine proceeds to help heal and study injured Americans and compensate the families who have lost loved ones due to complications of the vaccine. This is the first ever mass administration of mRNA vaccines, and the drug companies need to compensate us if they are going to be testing on us. Do you know why we stopped saying the Pledge of Allegiance in school? It's because the new one nation, under siege, completely divisible, with liberty and justice for all corporations, doesn't sound quite as good. I'm asking you, human to human, please do the right thing and help us.
Thank you, Kyle.